Hey there, welcome to the Tranquil Shop. This week I am working on a dragon backpack. My friend saw the bee backpacks that we have in our store, and she's like, "Can you make me one that looks like a dragon?" And I said, "I guess, I mean, we're friends." So I have recorded a couple of things before this clip of me working through the base of the bag that I will insert after this clip. I don't know, I didn't feel like talking until now. I also have a picture that I will insert right here now of my idea of what this bag is going to look like. I don't have it 100% figured out. I'm just sort of trying my best off of an idea in my head and hoping it all turns out. But I have, up until this point, finished the straps and the base bag. Oh, this is inside out, that's why it's funky. The base bag. So I'll let you watch those clips right now. And now you're back and caught up with what I am working on right now. I'm currently working on the little feet seats for the bag. I have 2 toes so far. Bring it a little closer, maybe you might be able to see them. 2 toes. I decided this one is going to be bigger than this one for like the middle toe, but each foot is going to have 3 toes on it, maybe. So I'm gonna work on the 3rd toe and then put that all together, and maybe by the time that I get the full foot hand thing, I'll talk again with the camera of how that looks like. But I'm a little scared. There's a lot in this project that I don't 100% know how it's all going to work. Like the head, I don't know how I'm going to attach it to the bag. I don't know whether or not I want a tail. It looks better with the tail in my little mock-up image, but I'm worried, like, if you try to sit down with the backpack on, is the tail gonna get in the way? There's a lot of things in this bag that I'm not 100% certain about, but I want to take you on the journey with me as I work through this. I'm talking as though this is the intro clip, but I inserted those clips of me working on the main bag. So really this is like in the middle of the clip. It's weird how I'm recording this video. I should think sometimes before I speak. You know, I'm not mad about these feet. They're kind of, okay, so the back doesn't look as good as the front. Not 100% sure why not. But I kind of like them. I was not expecting them to look that good, but they're more than acceptable. I'm proud of my ability to make feet. I'm also just really weirded out by the fact that I have made feet. But I have a vision for this backpack. I've showed you the picture already, my amazing doodling skills. So I'm going to make 3 more of this, and then I have to figure out the wings after that, and the head, and the tail, all of which I have no idea where to even start. Okay, so I finished the 4 little feet seats. I'm quite proud of them. I almost dropped this one. They are my favorite part of the project so far. I just think they're very cute, and I adore them. But I haven't been working on this project in quite some time because I'm honestly terrified of this project. I've never made a dragon before, let alone a backpack that looks like a dragon. I'm basing this project entirely off of an idea in my mind instead of a pattern that somebody else has made and tested and created, and I don't often do projects straight from my mind, especially something as big as this and something for a friend. Like if I were doing this project, if I were doing any project and I didn't end up liking the way that it turned out, that's fine. You know, I'll just like undo it and do something else with the yarn, or I'll throw it into the abyss and we'll never talk about it again. But this being for a friend, once I'm finished with the end project, I then have to show it to her and see if she likes it. And if she doesn't like it, I don't know what to do. It's also quite a lot of yarn that I'm using for this project, because, you know, we have the bag and then we have all the extras to the bag. I'm only halfway through this and I'm terrified of this project. So I've been putting it off for a few days, but today is the day. We are going to continue working on it. I have 3 parts left. I have the head, the wings, and the tail. But the wings just right now seem like the easiest, the less terrifying part of the project out of all 3 of these very terrifying parts. So I'm going to start working on that. I am kind of stealing a bat pattern and using the wings from that. I guess I'll link it down in the description if I remember. If it's not there, please let me know in the comments. But it's called Bartholomew the Bat, and it's a life-size realistic bat pattern. So I'm just gonna take those wings, make them smaller, because I believe they're 20 inches big, and that's huge for this. So I think I'm gonna cut them in half, sort of, make them smaller, and then add them to the bag. But even though I have like a pattern and I'm stealing this from somebody else's bat pattern, I'm still terrified that I'm going to make it. I'm going to put all my time and effort into these wings, and they're not going to look good, and I don't have a backup plan if they don't look good. So here's to hoping that it all works out. So if I do everything in half, like for example 12, I would just cut it down into 6. I don't know how to do half a decrease. Like that's just a single crochet, but then you need the decreases in order to do the shaping. But if I'm cutting the pattern in half, I don't know how to do the shaping, and that's kind of important for a wing, so that it looks like a wing and not a rectangle. So this is as far as I got into it. Not very far at all, very thin. Before I just suddenly realized, I was like, I don't know how to do this, and kind of freaking out a little bit, because this is a very important part of the pattern, or the, you know, final design. It's not a dragon backpack unless it has wings, but I don't know how to do the wings. Okay, so update on the dragon backpack project that I have going on. I've been driving myself crazy with this. I know we talked before about me using that Bartholomew Bat pattern to try and make the wings and not being able to half it. I then tried to somewhat follow the pattern, but not actually following the pattern, just like looking at the picture. I was going to use this, and I was going to put some triangles so it would look like a bat wing. I don't know how else to describe it to you, but I was trying so hard to get it to fit in this, and I just couldn't figure it out. So then I was looking at another dragon backpack pattern, which I had originally used just the picture of as a reference point to be like, oh, you want something like this, but the problem is the pattern uses bulky yarn, and I didn't feel like there's enough space in that bag to be a good backpack, which is why I did basically the bag part of my bee bag, and I'm basing it off of that. So I looked at that picture, and I'm just basically staring at that picture and trying to make the wings like that. But I can't use that pattern because it uses super bulky yarn, and this is all in worsted. I did tell my friend though, if this doesn't work, I'm going to make the wings out of fabric and just like sew them together, because I've done that once before. And the wings looked okay, but they weren't perfect, and it's not gonna look good with crochet, I don't think. It's gonna be like a weird aesthetic choice, but I was like, I'm losing my mind over this, and the wings are the most important part to the pattern. So if after this third try I still can't get it, like, that's my backup plan. So let's hope and see. I'm creating a triangle. I've gotten this far so far, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of an update, because I've been sitting on this. I made this a week ago, and I've just been like sitting here staring at it like, what do I do now? Okay, so I actually did it. My third try, I made wings, and I have put them on the bag. Exciting times. I may have to stiffen them up later. I'm going to, once I have all the sewed parts on, like the straps, the feet, everything, once I've finished it, I'm gonna try it on to see if the wings stay relatively stiff, or if they're gonna like flop around everywhere. And if they are flopping around everywhere, I'm gonna try to find a way to stiffen them up. Right now I'm kind of thinking mixing glue and water together, like paper mache. I think that's how you do paper mache. I've never done it before. And stiffening them that way. I also know you can use some sort of starch to starch them, but I'm not 100% sure what kind. Is it like cornstarch, or what is it? I've never done that before, but that's a problem for future me. I'm quite proud of how these turned out. For being my third time trying, you know, I'm happy with them. So now I'm going to make the head, because I think that's going to be the next easiest part. Not 100% sure where I'm going to put it so that it doesn't flop around, especially if it's going to be something heavy. Maybe I won't even do a head. No, I feel like I have to because I have the feet, and it'd be weird if you had feet without a head. Alright, so I've gotten a third of the way through the head. I like paused to double check it because it's a good thing that I double checked it. This is the head that I started doing, just basically one really big circle. But as I was checking it with the actual bag to see if it worked size-wise, it looks okay, but it's gonna be really floppy. And also just the way that it protrudes from the back, the head's gonna be tilted down a lot and basically like constantly sitting when you have it on like this. And that's just not a good look, not the look that I'm going for. So I was debating what I'm going to do with this project, and I think I figured it out. I think it will work a lot better if I do two 2D sides and sew them together, kind of similar to like the Raggedy Ann dolls sort of thing. Cop cars getting somebody. Woo! And if you can't 100% understand what I'm trying to say there, of course I'll show it to you so you can get sort of a visual, but I think I have an idea that's going to work, and I'm going to test it out. But I did just want to come on here and say real quick that I tried a head that didn't end up working. Not because I want to brag. Oh my god, I'm putting so much work into this bag and it's not working. But, you know, just to let you know, we tried something and it didn't work out. And now we're going to try something else. So it's like something broke within me a few days ago, and I don't know, like I've been having so many problems with trying to make this project be as perfect as it could possibly be, and overthinking so many different aspects of it, that a couple days ago I was just like, enough is enough. If it isn't perfect, that's okay. Like, it's handmade. You are not perfection incarnate. Like, it is okay if it doesn't end up exactly how you imagine it could. And maybe that sounds like a little bit harsh, but it really helped me just get stuff done rather than sit here and overthink like I have been doing. So I have many things to show you. First of all, I believe the last time that you saw the bag, you saw it with the wings. I don't know how to do this. I sewed on the legs as well, so now it has legs. And then I sewed on the straps as well, so that it acts as an actual backpack. And I both made and sewed on the tail. A lot of work on the backpack itself, but we're not done yet. I'm telling you, this perfectionism thing has just been ruining my productivity with this project, that as soon as I let it go, the world was my oyster. What? So then, I believe the last time that you saw this as well, or maybe you didn't even see it, the head. I just made the head, stuffed it. I added these things on the bottom that you can barely see are stability, so that it doesn't flop over. I'm hoping that that works. If it doesn't, then I tried my best. But then I also added the nose to it, and I was thinking, okay, this looks a little pig-ish. The camera is so high up. So then I added the ears, and I was like, okay, still kind of piggish. And then I added the horns, and now it's turned into a cow. But I'm hoping that my vision looks good for the head. If not, sorry, you have a flying cow. But we did all of that. And then, but wait, there's more. I started working on the eyes that I'm going to do. I don't have eyes, the safety eyes that I normally use, I don't have big enough ones for a head of this size. Like, it'd look really small and stupid and beady-eyed. And I didn't want to buy a whole pack of really big safety eyes, because then I'd have extra. What am I going to do with the extras? So instead I was planning on just like crocheting the eyes and sewing those on. So first I had to ask the recipient of this, what color eyes does a purple dragon have? And she responded, jade. Okay, so the very first eye that I made was, I can't tell what's up and what's down, and honestly I don't think it matters, this one. And I really like this eye. Like, that is a good dragon eye. The only problem is that it is huge. And that's not a good look. So I'm going to send this to the recipient anyway, but like not connected to anything. I'm just going to send her a box full of eyeballs and to go, here you go. So then I worked on a couple other different ones. This one was a backup just in case the other one didn't work. This is more of like a human eyeball, but when you add it to the face, it kind of reminds me of Miss Piggy. Like, do you understand? Do you see it too? So that one I'm not doing. My final idea, and the one that I am going to be going with, is this cat's eye, as soon as I make it look good. This cat's eye. It's the best option I've done so far, and it has that dragon slit to it, you know, because it's the cat's eye slit. Yes, good. So I'm going to make another one of these, add it to the other side, of course, of this head. Then next, I'll probably talk to you before I do this, but the next part is just sewing this onto the bag so it looks like so. Get the wings out. I still need to find a way to make sure that the wings stay out. I haven't looked up how to starch things yet, but that's probably my best bet in order to make them firm rather than just movable, you know? And then I'm going to hide these in the bag themselves by like sewing the liner inside here. But we will burn that bridge when we get to it. Alright, I was supposed to be coming with you with an update for the eyes and sewing them on, but I went a little crazy. So I sewed on the eyes. I also gave it eyebrows just because I felt like it was missing something. Tried out eyebrows just to be kind of funny, and I was like, the eyebrows are actually what it was missing. That was my problem. The nose, I have given it a little bit of a nose job. I don't like it from the side, but I gave it nostrils just because it was looking a little too piggish. I gave it a ridge in the top. Here's a close-up view. I don't love it, but that's not my problem. So long as the person who receives it loves it, that's all that matters. I sent her pictures. She has never seen a single part of this project. So I just sent her like all at once. This is what it looks like. I'm still waiting on her to respond, but I like just sent it to her, so I'm fine. But I'll show you a little look at what it would look like if I sewed this head onto the body. When it is sewed onto the body, this is what it will look like-ish. This body part here is going to be cinched a little bit once I add the drawstring. The wings, of course, are going to be a little bit more firm and stand out. I will wait for her to text me back, let me know what she thinks of it, if she gives me the go-ahead that she likes it. I will be sewing the lining onto it first, sewing the head down to the body, sewing the lining in it, and then I'm going to do the wings, and then we are done. If she says that she doesn't like the head, I gave her a few options. If she doesn't like the head, then I was asking her if she just likes it body but no head, or asking her does she want me to try and make a different head and try to figure that out. All dependent on what she texts me back with. Hopefully I don't have to make another head. Just personally, if she asks me to, of course I'll do it. But or maybe I can just try to give this another nose job, see if that helps it out if she doesn't like this nose. Either way, I will update you with the next part of doing this, and we will see how this goes from there. She said she prefers it with head, so I sewed on the head to the body. I added, you can already kind of see the drawstring closure, and our main body for the bag is done. It does kind of, the head kind of lays down when you're holding it like this, but I tried it on real quick and it stayed up, so I don't know, maybe I need to do some testing. The head stays up and that's all that matters. I mean, of course, if you're leaning back, it'll lean down, but so the next thing that I have to do is do the lining for this, and I think that's it. I think we're done once we do the lining, so give me a few days to emotionally prepare for having to use the sewing machine. I'll do that off camera because, as I think you just picked up from me saying give me a few days to emotionally prepare, I hate using the sewing machine, and I don't think anybody wants to watch me cursing and sitting there, you know, in the video, unless you think that's funny, in which case I'm still not showing it to you. Alright, we have a few things to talk about. So, number one, I left you just before I was going to sew in the liner. One thing that I noticed about this project was that I couldn't fit it in my sewing machine, which is kind of a big deal. I'm not very good at hand sewing, and to be fair, I'm also not very good with a sewing machine, but I'm better at a sewing machine than I am at hand sewing, so this was an issue. I wouldn't have been able to fit it in like this because the head wouldn't have fit when it was going around. I couldn't really turn it inside out because of all the rest of the stuff. So I just ended up hand sewing the lining in. Here you can see lining goes all the way down. That feels very obvious, you know, it's lining. The other thing to note is that I did a little bit of research on stiffening things and starching them. So there are 3 main methods in order to stiffen or starch crochet. Let me see if I can remember them all off the top of my head. There is store-bought starch that you can buy. You can either spray it on or it's like a liquid that you can dip stuff in. There is starch that you can make at home, and then there was the glue and water mixture that I was going to do. Each way to do it has its own pros and cons list, and ultimately I just feel like all of the cons were bigger deals than the pros. Going back to listing everything, the glue and water method that I was going to use, over time it may yellow the product, and it also can't be washed out. So if it does yellow, or if you just like don't want it to be stiff for some reason, if I mess up maybe, let's say, I won't be able, or the person who is receiving this bag won't be able to wash it out and start over from the beginning. With the homemade starch, which is basically you either buy a starch or there's a couple different kinds of flour, but they're specialty flours, like rice flour I know is one of them. You boil it in a pot with some water, make it like thicken up, and then you use it, you like put it on the item that you want to stiffen. The problem with that one is it might attract bugs, and that's kind of a big deal. I don't want this to attract bugs, so not a good idea. The third method, which is you can buy starch, like specifically for projects like this. From what I have read online, it works for some people, but it doesn't work for others. And it seems to work best on smaller items, whereas this, you know, I'm doing it with the wings, which are quite large. They're about 10 inches wide or so. This seems like a bigger item than that would help with. I kind of got distracted because I realized it looked like it was waving and it made me laugh. So anyway, it just seemed like the better idea to not starch it. To be fair, it's not like it's difficult to make it stay flat. You know, even if you crunched it all up, you could always just flatten it again and it would be fine. It was mostly just to make sure that it was secure and that it would never be able to be crunched up, but like, it holds itself up pretty well. So I decided that I wasn't going to do that. This was just going to be its final form with the lining inside. You've seen this part before, me wearing it, so I don't feel like I should put it on again. That seems weird. This is it in its final form. I'm about to box it up and ship it to its owner, but we did it. We made a dragon backpack. It was honestly a lot of work. Like, I feel like this was a bit more than my experience level was ready for, but of course doing projects like this, I have learned a lot in doing this. It has only helped me grow to be a better crocheter. You know, I've sent pictures to the person who has asked for this bag, who commissioned me for this item, and they absolutely adored it. They were so excited for me to get ready for it. So I'm really happy with how everything turned out, and their enjoyment of this makes me enjoy it for them, if that makes sense. But anyway, that's the end of this video. I have finished the project. I'm about to ship it out, as I said. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. We will not be selling this bag in stores, but we do have a commission page, so if you have anything in particular that you think that you would want us to make and send to you, you can check that out. I'll link it in the description below so you have an easy way to get to that page. Or you can also just check out our website, thetranquilshop.com, go through all of the products that we have available and see if there's anything that you yourself might be interested in. But otherwise, we hope to see you in the future, whether that is here on YouTube, anywhere else on our social medias, or as an order in our store.